By year 3, we were a debt-free $1 million business. Cash flowed everything. I wish more people in the blue-collar trades were willing to be embarrassed. I wish they were willing to put themselves out there, because your next opportunity is on the other side of the fence of boldness.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the OWNR OPS Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Gray. In this episode, I have Alex Kirby joining us. Alex built and sold a landscaping business, and he's going to share more about the journey and more about that process.
I don't want you to own your job. I want you to own a business. I started praying and saying, Lord, I need you to show me what to do on Fridays, because I have just no idea. And about 5 days later, this guy comes up to me from the church and goes, and light bulb went off in my head when I was like, I'm from this town and I don't know anyone to recommend to this guy. That's weird. And so I was like, I'll do it.
But more importantly, Alex and I both agree on our faith as a guiding principle in not only our life, but in business as well.
I said our life will be changed forever. And my wife, the godly, amazing, sweet girl she is, she said, I trust you. I built a custom website for the first time. I bought 3 Ram trucks. I bought 3 trailers. I bought 4 mowers. I paid cash for everything. And we did $1 million the next year debt free because of her belief in me and not letting lifestyle creep come in.
So we're going to dive into topics of how faith and business correlate for both of us. And if that's your jam, then you're going to enjoy this episode.
A business owner's never allowed to have a bad day. Your people never need to hear you complaining. They never need to see you down. You need to bring the energy every day. You need to bring the heat.
If you have this desire to go build businesses, like that is inherently built inside your DNA by the creator.
But before we dive in, we have been having a lot of fun building our school group. I've documented a lot of resources that we've used to grow Bear Claw from 0 to 7 figures. Things like how to optimize your Google business profile, how to run profitable Facebook ads, how to dial in your messaging so that you're targeting your ideal customer so that you can find your most profitable jobs, how to set up and optimize jobbers so that you can save time on the back end with all the office admin work, how to streamline systems, things of that nature. So if you haven't joined yet, you can join at school.com/ownerops. That's SKOOL.com/OWNROPS. My goal is to offer as much free value as I can in there. I would absolutely love to meet you if I have not already. It's free to join. Just jump in that group. Make sure to introduce yourself in the community, and can't wait to meet you in there. Without further ado, let's jump into the episode with Alex.
Let's rock and roll. Alex Kirby, welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here. Never been snowboarding, but I'm glad
Really?
to be here. Never been.
Oh man, I'm surprised y'all hadn't brought like a youth trip out here.
I know. I have enough kids to bring a whole van, but
Do you?
no. Yeah, I've got, my wife and I have our 4th on the way right now, about 10 more weeks. We have a 6.5-year-old girl who's a wild child. She's wild. And then 3 boys in a row, and they're going to be 4.5 years apart. Like, boom. So we're tapping out after that, but wild times over here in my family, no question.
Love it. We got a lot to talk about. Faith, business. You're a serial
man.
entrepreneur. You got multiple businesses. Started a landscape business, and you mentioned that you guys are going to franchise.
Yeah, I'm actually talking to a lawyer guy today. One of the X world recommendations. X is a new world for me. I got on X last year for the first time ever. And man, the connections I've made on there is nuts. So someone hooked me up with the expert franchise lawyer. Everybody recommended them, and I posted it yesterday. That's what's so cool about X, dude. You just get the best recommendations like in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's this like tight knit, but it's weird. It's like a small group of where business owners hang out, and I feel like outside of that, I don't know, your friends and family aren't on there.
No, I don't know anybody but one guy on there from like real life.
It's funny, like I'm the same. I don't know any of my friends or family who use the platform, but small business owners, they're on there.
Let me ask you this, because I'm not as an expert as you on the X thing. I can't tell who's real and phony on that platform. Where other platforms, I feel like I can tell. I can't tell who is what and what is who. Do you ever feel that way, or am I way off there?
It's interesting, and algorithm's going to hate me for saying this, but I don't scroll that much right now.
Yeah.
Like I've just been really focused on, all right, how can we build Bear Claw, which is our business?
Yeah.
I recently got back from launching a land clearing business down in Austin, and this last winter I launched a snow shoveling business alongside Bear Claw. And in both businesses, I've implemented Jobber as a way for us to efficiently manage quoting, job schedules, and invoicing, and even collecting online payment. Why? Because it's worked so well for us in Bear Claw and it's saved us a ton of time and headache. So if you are looking for a software that can help you manage the back end of your business, look no further than Jobber. You can visit go.getjobber.com/ownerops, OWNR OPS.
Focus. And then with the podcast, I'm really dialing in the focus there for season 3, which is going to be starting at the beginning of the year. And I really just want everything to be like where we'll move into the beginning of the year is everything is going to come back to land services, the business that I'm operating. So I'm just going to dive deep. Like I'm diving into this book again.
Yeah.
And everything that we're doing from a business perspective, we're going to refine. And then I've got the online stuff, the podcast, and then our consulting offer and whatnot. It's just all going to be married together. Instead of trying to do way too many things for way too many people, I'm just trying to simplify and then optimize where needed. Let's
have
talk
them all help.
Let's
talk it.
Do it. What business did you start? When did you start it?
Yeah, man. So I started Trifecta Landscaping in 2017. And the story is pretty wild. I was a pastor straight out of college. I played baseball in college, big athlete my whole life. Went on a full ride to a Division II school. Because people don't realize this, before NIL, everything's changed like crazy. Like baseball was not a fully athletic scholarship D1 sport. So like I had Division I offers, plenty, like several Division I offers, but it was 25, 30%. So do you go $50K to a D1 school, or do you go full ride to a D2, big D2 school? It's a pretty easy decision at the time. Now, most of them are fully funded because of NIL stuff. But so went to a D2 school, pretty close to my house. I live in Columbia, South Carolina, which is the capital of South Carolina, where the Gamecocks are. Big game coming up for us, football. And was a pastor, met Christ in college, became a Christian in college, and studied Bible. And so got out of college, and that's when I kind of realized that I didn't have any money, and youth pastors don't make any money. And so 90 days into being married, got married to my wife right after college in the end of 2015. I came home one day and was like, hey, this isn't going to work. And I should have chose better words. I'll say that. You don't say that to your new wife, right? But I meant financially, right? And so I got 3 extra jobs like immediately. And again, I hadn't read anything. I hadn't really talked to anybody, but the big thing was I was off on Fridays. And so I was like, what can I do on Fridays to make extra money? And I started praying and saying, Lord, I need you to show me what to do on Fridays because I have just no idea. And about 5 days later, this guy comes up to me from the church and goes, hey, man, you're from this town. Can you point me in the direction of a lawn care guy? I'm like, I don't know any. I don't know a single one. And light bulb went off in my head when I was like, I'm from this town and I don't know anyone to recommend to this guy. That's weird. And so I was like, I'll do it. And that's the start. So that was like summer of 2016. I'd never mown grass, dude. My dad we had 2 acres. My dad was like Mr. Manicure, right? So he never gave me a chance to learn how to do it. So I YouTubed it on the way to go mow this guy's house, like edging and stuff. And I butchered his yard. I did a horrible job. Thankfully, he was gracious enough to give me another shot. And for the next 6 months, I side hustle it and get some clients, right? Then long story short, the church job, there's some stuff going on at the church I didn't agree with. So I quit with $3,000 to my name. My wife and I, we quit. And some jobs offers at big places, but we just were like, man, our goal is just to have a big family. And Dave Ramsey was a big guy that I ended up reading and enjoying. I don't agree with everything, but 95% I do. And so I was like, you know what? Let's see if we can do. My wife actually was like, let's see if you can do this lawn care thing let's give it 90 days. And then 2017, January, February, March. And let's see what happens. We have enough money. I think we had like $6,000 at the time. She had a job. We have enough money to last 90 days. And man, it just went bonkers from day one. I think the first year we did $250K in revenue. Second year, 500. And by year 3, we were a debt-free $1 million business. Cash flowed everything. Like I said, Dave Ramsey was a big inspiration to me. And again, so I just put in the seat belt and said, all right, let me figure this out. I don't know anything about lawn care, landscaping. I don't know anything. Baseball, you enjoy lawn care, right? That was people I was asking, why did you like it? I played baseball my whole life, and we manicured our field all the time and played taking care of fields, if that makes any sense. So that's where like the love of that is. And I grew up on some land, so like I love being outside. So those two things made it pretty easy for me to do that.
That's awesome. And what year was this when you started?
Of January 2017. So the worst month possible to start a lawn care business. I remember being like, how am I supposed to do anything in this month? So we did a lot of cleanups. We did a lot of, I don't know if you know what pine straw is, but we do a ton of that here in the South.
Okay.
Like pine needles, like people like that as like a mulch, like an alternative to mulch.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So we put a ton of pine straw and a ton of cleanups those first 2 months before the grass started growing.
Pine straw. And sorry, we're going to dive a little bit deep on this.
I'm ready.
This is pine needles?
Oh, yeah.
These are
like
pine
they bail them up in the woods with this. A lot of Hispanic people do pine straw harvesting, and they make this wooden box, and then they have a pump arm, and they pile it up every 50 feet. So they do like with a rake. So like you can imagine there's pine trees, acres of it. And I've been out to the field so many times. And they go in a circle for 40, 50 feet, make a big pile of it like you would a leaf pile. Then they grab it, put it in this chute, they push it down with an arm, and then they tie it while it's pushed down, and then they pull it out. And it's, I don't know, bale's probably 2.5 feet by 1.5 feet, something like that, like maybe 3 feet long. And they sell like crazy here. Yeah, they sell like crazy here. Like people love it.
And people use that in their flower beds?
Yeah, instead of mulch, yeah. Or it's like a river rock alternative. Like it's the cheapest alternative to mulch and river rock. No, installed, I think we're at $850 a bale now, but when I started, it was like $657. So one bale covers 6 feet by 6 feet, probably. Maybe a little bit more.
Okay, so it's in some sort of matting material?
No, you just grab it and you shake it out, dude.
Oh. And then it ends up,
it ends up being like a fluffy cotton candy cloud.
Really?
You use the blower and you curl it on the edges to make it tight, and that's it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Sorry, I'm diving deep on the nitty-gritty here.
I'm all about this. I love it.
And then the reason I'm diving deep on this, and I just looked it up, like your pine needles are different, but
yeah, they're needle.
We chip a lot of,
They're long needle.
Okay. Got it.
So they're pretty long. They can get to 1.5 feet long per needle. It's pretty long.
Got it. Yeah, I'm always interested in, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
If you were creating a product, I love figuring out a way to go sell that product. They would consider waste to most people.
Yeah, I mean, I used to flip it. I'd go to Latino people and then go to a landscape supply and put 50 cents on it and sell it to them for sure. It's a good product. It sells like the landscape supply that I used to buy from would sell 200,000 bales a year. Like really? Nutty, crazy numbers. Yeah.
What is that? What'd you say? It was $750 or $850 a bale?
That's installed. So like the wholesale or the retail price would be like $425 a bale. They buy it for $350. They have 75 cents to $1 profit in there.
Okay. Got it.
But it just sits there. It just sits in the truck. So you just wait till people come in, they throw it on their own truck and they leave. Like it's a great product to just have sitting there and make money. It's like we used to call it like the landscape soda machine, right? You just put it out there and then people buy it and then they leave.
Interesting. So you got your start by installing this in January in the winter months.
Yeah, exactly. So first month I was installing this and doing like leaf cleanups from people after Christmas and property cleanups. Hey, my yard's a mess. Why at the time, $400 for the day, I'll do it. It's like whatever I had to do to get to, I think I remember my wife and I made a tree, like a Christmas tree, and we're like, every $1,000, let's color it in. Our goal was like 8,000 the first month. And we did 8,200, I remember.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah, next month, somewhere in that same range, and then just took off. I had 60 lawns to cut in by the middle of April. Like my marketing's where I figured all that out. Like just marketing always made sense to me, organic, social media. So I'm a big believer. I know your whole audience is owner ops mostly. It's like marketing doesn't have to be sexy, dude. It just have a plan, execute, and hustle.
How did you go get those first customers?
Yeah, door hangers mostly. door hangers, and then something I call spider web marketing, which is, I just made the term up, but everyone has their own version of it. But basically, every single person in my phone I texted from, I don't know, 2,300 people in my life in my phone. I sent a 3-sentence text with a picture. Said, hey, it's Alex. Hope you're doing good. Casual. So just want to let you know I started a lawn care business in town. If I can ever serve you, please let me know. And I had a funny picture or something. And so I spent one entire night, like 5 hours, just texting every person. And next thing you know, you got 20 people that called you back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We just got done with the live stream from Andy with the Striker Digital guys. And we were talking about this specifically because one of the guys joined and was like, how do I go get my first customer? And to your point, you said it. I know it's a cliche term, but it's just hustle in the beginning.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a big believer in, again, faith with action is the sauce. I trust you. I think you're going to send people my way. I know you're going to finish the work you began. But I know that in order for you to create a path, I have to walk.
Yep.
So I'm gonna walk, and you show me where to go.
I love it. I love the action piece. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, man.
So from there, you get your first 20 customers. What do you do from there for marketing?
Man, I didn't do anything paid for a long time, 2 years probably. And like I said, we did 500K the second year. So it was all organic to $500,000. But my big break came, and this is where I think your audience will like this story. So I was mowing, I don't know about you guys out there, we have a lot of spec home builders, right? So national builders or regional builders that build 200 house neighborhoods consistently, right? And I was mowing houses in there for individuals, and I kept seeing the properties looking terrible from the builder side, right? So they're like building and then putting them on the market. So I'm just driving through one day, and I'm like, man, like in the beginning of year 2, I'm like, man, these houses look terrible. I wonder who's mowing these for them. I remembered that a girl in my youth group's dad worked at, I just remembered randomly, her dad worked at one of the builders as like a high up guy. So I just texted her and was like, she was graduated at the time. I said, hey, does your dad still work there? She goes, yeah. I said, can I get his number? And I'd met him several times. It wasn't like a stranger. I think we went to dinner a couple times after church with his family type thing. And I called him. He was like, what's up, Alex? And I'm like, hey, I see all these houses not mowed. Who does them? He's too high up for that. He's like, I don't know, but we got it covered. Thanks. I emailed him every month on the 1st for the next 8 months and just kept saying, hey, is there an opportunity? Let me know. So going into year 3, I emailed him in February like I always do. And he called me and said, you emailed me on the right day. We fired him last week. So that's a huge thing that I try to teach people, and we'll get to this later, but I do a lot of coaching, consulting stuff, is like 80% of the battle is being consistent. And I'm a baseball guy, so I say being on deck when it's your time to hit, man. Like, just be the girl at the dance who needs a partner. And so this is a multi-gazillion-dollar company. They actually, so they sold for $150 million like a couple years later. But so they gave me like 4 lawns, like one neighborhood to cut. They're like, we'll give you a test. And they had 25 neighborhoods in my city under construction, something like that. And so they gave me 4 lawns, and the next, long story short, I ended up getting that whole account. It became a $600K account every year until I sold the company. So I ended up doing that a couple times. So like I went to another builder, and I couldn't get that guy to email me. So I actually, this is a funny story, Austin. I dressed up like I was at a meeting. I had a meeting with the guy. I could not get him to respond. And I walked into their office and went to the new hire admin girl. She's like, hey, can I help you? And I said, hey, I'm Alex. I'm here with, what did I say? Like home service relations or something. I made up something, like a title that didn't make. I literally said something like that, Austin. I'm serious. And I looked like I had my laptop, and I looked like I had a briefcase, and I looked like I had a meeting. I was like, I'm here to see Jeremy. I'm here with landscaping relations or something like that. And she went and got him, dude. And so I ended up meeting him. We ended up doing 40K a year with him. So for anybody listening, I know that sounds crazy, but I believe if you want a customer and you just keep them in your atmosphere of, hey, we want to work with you. We're here if you need. Because we know that about like big companies or contractors or hospitals. They're firing people all the time. They're looking for expansion all the time. And they don't really have a staff that looks hard for people to work with. They don't really care as long as the job gets done. So if you can be the person on the outside prowling, I think that's a great strategy for growth, personally.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I believe that so many people need to hear this, especially in your industry. The maintenance service, like I see some people trying to run, I'm big on Facebook ads, but we're a high ticket service, one-off project, right? I can make that customer acquisition cost to average order value work very well.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, and I'm interested to hear, like, you may have a Facebook ad strategy with an offer that works. And if you do, totally cool. Would love to hear about it. But I love the fact you're bringing this up, because like my snow shoveling business is the same. I don't run any Facebook ads. I don't do any paid ads for that. I just went straight to the commercial property managers. Like, where is the one customer who can get me 100, or the one customer who can get me 300?
Exactly.
And that is what you're saying. And man, I see so many people overcomplicating it. All you got to do is walk into the office. But I love the fact of how you got creative there to go get to the decision maker.
Last week, I was helping one of the OWNR OPS Pro members get their Google business profiles verified, and they jumped in and asked, what do y'all use for business phone lines? And a couple of the other members chimed in and they said that they have been using Quo. Now, you may have heard me talk about OpenPhone before on the podcast, and OpenPhone has now been rebranded to Quo. With Quo, you get one simple app that brings all your calls, texts, and your customer history together in one place, and it even integrates with Jobber. You can share a single business number with your team so that anyone can pick up a call or reply to a customer. So there's no more missed messages or delayed responses. And also, Quo's AI assistant can answer calls for you after hours, take messages, or even respond automatically to common questions. So you never lose a lead, even when you're busy on site. You can even keep your existing business number when you switch. So head over to quo.com/ownerops. That's QUO.com/OWNR OPS. Whenever you use this link, you get a free trial and 20% off your first 3 months. Let's jump back into the episode.
I didn't know. I was so young at the time. I didn't really, that's what's fun about being young. Sometimes you just don't care, right? Like, I love the phrase, if you don't ask, they're already saying no. Like, they're already saying no. What I got to lose? And I wish more people believed in that. I wish more people in what I call blue collar, right? Blue collar trades were willing to be embarrassed. I wish they were willing to put themselves out there, because your next opportunity is on the other side of the fence of boldness. It really is. Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to put yourself out there, look like a fool in the world's view, you can change your life. And that's what landscaping did for me. And to fast forward all that, that's all right. Like, we grew. Again, became larger on Instagram with doing a lot of content on how to grow a landscape business debt-free. I was known as that guy. We ended up growing to 25 team members, right under 2 million annual revenue. And I ended up selling, I did an asset sale. So I guess your audience should know probably some of this. So I ended up, private equity was trying to buy everybody in COVID times, right? So I got hunted down by a couple of the PE people. They made an offer. It was a terrible one, right? You got to stay on 2 years and do the whole dance, right? For me, everyone asked me, like, why did you want to sell? For me, I'm not like a Mr. Fix-It handy guy. So lawn care, I had 10 trucks. I had 20 mowers. Like, we were about 80-20 maintenance to projects. And we were out of space. And so being a debt-free guy, like, I'm debt-free. Like, I pay cash for my house and my land too. So I got 10 acres. Like, I stick to this mantra really responsibly and committed, right? So thinking about building a facility, which is where we were at, we're at year 7, we're at 2 million. We need to get to 5. I don't know about your industry, but in the landscape world, basically the valley of the shadow of death is growing from 2 to 5. There's not a lot of profit extra, right? You're adding a lot of overhead over 3 million, 4 million. And when you get to 5, you start making, money again, and you've got your system put out. Facility was number 1 on the list. We're out of space. And we got 25 people's cars, right? You need an acre to park that. Then you got all our stuff. That's another acre. Then you got to have the building. That's 3 acres. We're looking at 3 acres minimum, right? So I got a quote with a decent piece of land and a building for $950,000. I'm like, that doesn't sound fun to me at all. And so instead of doing that, and also, Austin, if you do that, you got to stay in the game another 8 to 10 years to get your investment back. So those two things collided for me. Like, I didn't like the sound of either of those. Signing a contract for 8 years basically is how it felt. And then going into debt. I had not gone into debt. I didn't want to do it. I had a young family. I was telling you earlier, I've got a 6-year-old, now a 4-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, now another one coming. At the time, they were all under 4. So I was like, 3 of them were. So anyway, so I sold to a local guy, but I kept my brand because I knew my brand was really strong. So if you want to talk into brand marketing stuff, but I had grown the #1 reviews in town. We were ranked the #1 at the time. I'm in the major city, so that's a very important where I'm at. Social media was off the chain. Our lead flow was unreal. All the things that really mattered. And then we're big online on social media. I think on Facebook, we have 5,800 likes or something, followers. So I kept the brand. So the guy bought my customers and employees. He bought the assets. I got a really good lawyer. I signed an 18-month non-compete and got a nice cash out. And then I got to reimagine what I wanted the company to look like. Because when you grow to that size, it's kind of hard to tear down that beast, to go back. Because what I'm trying to say is we were too residential maintenance heavy. And so I realized that, how am I going to tear this beast down? We were 40% commercial, 40% residential, 20% projects. And I wanted to be closer to 10 to 15% residential and 60 to 70% commercial on the, and because as you said earlier, like, one-off tickets at $80, just don't do it. With the way inflation was going, the way that you have to pay decent people at the size I was at, right? So it just wasn't worth it. We were making good money, but it was going to be a hard 4 or 5 years growing to that $5 million, like I said, in that way. So I basically reset, and then now, like I said, I kept the brand, and we just launched my first location here in town. And the goal, I think, is we're going to be franchising it for 2026. So I'm working on that hard the next 3 or 4 months. Going to try to have a couple here in my town, and then a lot of these guys that have talked to me over the years who have stuck businesses, who are stuck at that 250 number. And lawn care, that's the number, 200 to 300K guys get stuck at. And
yeah, for sure.
So I like to tell people, I don't want you to own your job. I want you to own a business. And so I'm going to try to transform those guys from what they're doing to a trifecta, and then take them to 750 is the goal. 750 seems to be the number where you can comfortably make 6 figures and have a good business.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plan right now.
I love it. I love that. What do you think the person at 250 struggles with the most?
Oh, that's good. I think one is comfortability. And not comfort in a good way. He's complacent and comfortable because he's scared of his inadequacies. And so he's never gone to a conference. He's never read a book on business. He's only listened to the people at the Hardee's who talk about business when they're eating their biscuits every morning. Oh, you can't do that these days. There's no way. Things are cost too much. All those old guys that you just hear and listen to at church or whatever. And so I think that they believe the hype, like especially in the lawn and landscape industry. So many guys just think that this is the way it is. Oh, and you can't find good help. Oh my gosh, how many times I've heard that from people, dude.
That's the #1 right there.
#1. And so then they just make excuses for themselves. And every year they're frustrated. They make 70K, 80K, and they're like grinding, like working their bodies to the bone. And they just don't see the vision for more. The other one is lifestyle creep. So we didn't talk about this, but my wife and I in 17, 18, and 19, we've been married 2 years when we started the lawn care company. We paid ourselves $40,000 all 3 years salary, and we put every dollar back in the company other than that. We lived with a married couple, 2 married couples that first year in 17 to save money, to cash flow the business. The second year we bought a tiny house, and we lived in a tiny house for 18 and 19 on her grandparents' land. And we didn't buy anything, dude. I remember at the end of 2018, I had $100,000 in the bank, and I said, hey, I know this is going to sound crazy, but if I put 80% of this back into the company and go from 2 crews to 5, I'm going to cry thinking about this. I said, our life will be changed forever. And my wife, the godly, amazing, sweet girl she is, she said, I trust you. That's all she said. And I built a custom website for the first time. I bought 3 Ram trucks. I bought 3 trailers. I bought 4 mowers. I paid cash for everything. And we did $1 million the next year debt free because of her belief in me and not letting lifestyle creep come in. And I say that I'm getting emotional because I'm sitting here in my podcast studio at my house on my 10 acres, and my family's down there 1,000 feet away. My wife's raising our kids, homeschooling them, and all the things we dreamed about. I haven't got to think about that in a little while. And I just want to tell anyone listening to this, if you see the vision, don't let dust get in the way. Don't let people tell you, oh, you should buy a house now. Oh, you should get a better truck. Oh, don't let them tell you what you should do. Sacrifice the success for a little while, and then you can do almost anything. I'm a big believer in that, Austin.
How much did your faith have to play into that?
Everything. The short story on my faith journey is I was growing up in church, in a Baptist church, and I let baseball be the idol of my life. I care more about it than anything. And then I go to college and struggle going out, the whole deal. And finally, God got a hold of my heart sophomore year. And he's never led me astray. I've led myself astray for sure, but he's never led me astray. And anytime I needed to find the path back, he had a flashlight saying, it's right here. You can just go right here. I got you. And it came to the business. God, he always was showing me the next step. He didn't show me the destination, but Lord, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm trying, and I know you're going to show me just the next step. I don't need to see the finish line. I didn't know I was going to sell my business. I didn't see that finish line. I didn't know that. It was a really hard decision, like, to answer this at the context of that. I was really torn, and I woke up February 1st of 2023, mowing season's coming, right? And I was so torn with what to do. I woke up and the Holy Spirit told me today's the day. I remember it wasn't an audible voice, but like in my heart. And that's when I told my team that I was selling the company that day. And I sold, like I said, I sold the residentials to one guy, and I sold the commercial and everything else to another guy. But faith is everything. I don't see how people. I was listening to a podcast yesterday about, I like Tucker Carlson sometimes. I like the people he has on there. And he had an evangelist for 45 years. And he was basically saying, if there is nothing, then what we're doing means nothing. And it means everything to me, because I don't understand how people build something just to know they're going to leave it. And it didn't matter. For me, my faith means a legacy for my kids. It means helping missionaries. I just was able to, there's a missionary lady that we just supported. It means when my wife's friend is pregnant and they need diapers and wipes, I can give it to them, because I believe that more Christians with money is a good thing. I'm super against the poverty mindset in the church. How can we help people if we don't have? So yeah, faith means everything to me, brother.
For the longest time in my 20s, I think that was my big clash. It's like, how do I do faith and business together? And somewhere along the line, I was raised in the church as well. My 20s was pretty rough from a faith perspective. I questioned everything. 30s has been awesome. Having a family has been awesome. A strong believing wife has helped.
Yes,
having
amen to that.
Help, because it challenges you to think, what values I actually believe in, and where did those values come from? So for me, even if I still question things, like, everything comes back to what I learned in here growing up.
Yeah.
And so once I answered that question, it all became clear that, hey, that's the actual concept of faith.
Right. It's your anchor point, right? If you don't have something that's anchoring you, you're just a whimsical flower in the wind, man. It's just, yeah.
Agreed.
So it's funny you bring that up, because I spent 2024 kind of going, okay, what's next? Been running a marketing company. We market for blue collar businesses mostly. We do mostly social media management, ads. We don't really mess with SEO all that much, but social media, ads, and email in marketing. So I'd had that going since 23, but I really spent 24 kind of a little bit lost, to be honest. Like, all right, I've been doing this thing. I got the exit, a substantial amount of money, everything. God, what do you want me to do next? And I've been doing a lot of coaching on the side, because I just like my pastoring stuff comes out. I love helping guys. Like, I didn't tell you about, there's a mentor that kind of helped me start, that was in my church, that had a multi-million-dollar landscape company after I'd started, that taught me the ropes a little bit and enjoy that. So I spent 24, I was lost. I actually it's embarrassing to say, but it's okay. I actually just had to apologize to a lot of my employees who are no longer with me in my marketing company and say I was sorry because I was a bad boss for 2024. So I just wasn't on my game like I was before. And I guess this is a side note for people listening, but like, your people know if you're not on your game, and they need to know they can trust you. And a great quote that one of my mentors told me is, a business owner's never allowed to have a bad day. And what he means by that is, your people never need to hear you complaining. They never need to see you down. There's transparency, sure, but you need to bring the energy every day. You need to bring the heat. If you're having a bad day, you go to your people on X, you go to your small group, you go to your, I know there's peer groups like Tribe and stuff. That's where you have a bad day. Don't have a bad day in front of your people. It brings them down big time. And I had a bad year is what I'm trying to get at. And my people knew it, and I really hurt some people. So anyways, 2024 was me just going through the wilderness like the Israelites. I'm like trying to figure it out. And beginning of this year, I finally started really praying and fasting. Like, I had a weird year with God. Everything was weird. My health was weird. I'm working out again now, but just didn't take care of myself really. So the beginning of this year, probably like March, I really started finally having some clarity and about what am I good at and what am I passionate about and what can I do to help people with those two things. So we're actually about to launch like the Blue Collar Kingdom is what we're calling it. So what you just said is, how do I help people grow their business and grow the kingdom at the same time? So we're launching like a community for believers who want to not just learn. There's plenty of resources out there like Hermosi, right? Like on how to grow your business. But I tried to find it. There's almost nothing about how to grow a kingdom business in a practical way. How do I interview with God in mind? How do I fire with God in mind? How much should I be giving with my business finances? How much hours should I be working with the kingdom in mind? So that ethos, that idea is what we're doing there. So it's going to be just an online free community. There'll be a paid version, obviously. But I've been doing that for a couple of years now with a group of guys every Tuesday. So I have about 12, 15 consulting guys, and we talk business for half the time. And then we all talk about how to honor Jesus with our businesses the other half. And so I'm putting that into a real thing here in a few weeks. So anybody, I don't know, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. And then I'm launching my consulting company officially as well, just to help people. So that's going to be called Conquer Consulting. You'll see that launch too. And then my landscape franchise. Those are my three things that I'm really focusing on. Like you were talking about a minute ago, Austin, like trying to get things that work together. But the marketing company, I've got a great team. I'm bringing on a partner for that. So it's there, but those consulting and community driven things with my landscape franchise is really where I want to drive so I can help people and grow the kingdom, man. I'm a big king. That's the word I like to use. So kingdom.
Love it, man. Love it.
Striker Digital specializes in SEO services specifically for local service businesses. Bodie and Andy, the two co-founders, have helped me get Bear Claw Land Services to the #1 search result on Google inside my state for my specific search term. If you want to learn more, visit strikerdigital.com. That's STRYKER-digital.com.
Are you a Sagan guy? I can't remember. Are you a Global Talent Sagan guy? I can't remember that.
No, I hadn't jumped in there.
Okay.
That's John Matzner.
John. I didn't know because I know I've been talking to your assistant and stuff, but yeah, that's been a fun journey for me. Never had a remote person at all, but until 18 months ago, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, it's great. No, I just used onlinejobs.ph for recruiting.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, but I hear what he's got going. It's a great thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I know a lot of guys that you ran with do use it, so I didn't know. Again, I didn't know, but it's pretty sweet. It's a good fit for some. But yeah, the PH thing I've heard good things about too. The job board.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they're mixed reviews on that because, yeah, I'm hesitant to go there.
We don't have to.
No, I was just going to say, if people are interested in onlinejobs.ph, basically the strategy that I use is getting really clear on your job description, what you're looking for, post that job description, and then ask for a Loom video introduction. Because what will happen, and I see this happen a lot, people will post a job and you get like 100+ applicants, and then you spend a ton of time interviewing people and trying to qualify. So if you just do one simple thing for any listeners who are listening, and to provide some context, we're talking about hiring virtual assistants or executive assistants here in the Philippines. You met Shadell. She's great. Absolutely great. Incredible person. And I think the coolest thing about hiring overseas, like her main goal is like she bought some land and wants to build a house, and like we're sharing that goal internally.
Very cool.
Right. And we have that goal by a specific date next year. She's helping with the podcast and everything. And we have some paid offers, right? And she's incentivized to like help with all those, and she gets commission and payment. And so that's top of my list too. And there's something about that, man, I truly believe, and we can weave this back into faith and entrepreneurship, but like for me, this is how the bigger purpose gets fulfilled with entrepreneurship, right? Of course, there's the game of playing business, and you're a competitor. You play baseball, I played football. So you want to win the game, and I want to win the game, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And for the longest time when I was first starting out, I'm like, man, am I like valuing the wrong things because of what the Bible says about money and idols and whatnot? And ultimately, to where you've gone is, I think, ultimately where I've landed as well. Let's just bring God in part of this process, ask for the right direction, ask for the right steps. Every morning, my prayer is, God, can I just have the strength, the wisdom, and the decision-making ability to make the right decisions that you want me to make? And you know what's cool is whenever you ask her, he shows up.
Always.
And it's awesome. It really is. And so
well, you said something. Can I say this real quick? You said something that I've struggled with, and I want to hit on it for others. Just because I'm winning doesn't mean you have to lose, is a phrase I like.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't believe that a lot of the times. Like, my competitiveness gets the best of me. But that's true. Like, I don't have to step on other people to climb. We can climb together. Like, we can both win. But in sports, right, it was always a victor and a defeated, right? So it's like, it's countercultural to the way I grew up. But in the kingdom, in kingdom business, the more people that are climbing, the better, man.
Absolutely.
And so that's something that I have to battle. The other part is, you mentioned how the scriptures, I'll say this I've been doing this little segment I'm starting called 60-second sermons online. So I'll give you one. Everyone talks about that money is the root of all evil, right? People say that growing up, but when you really study it, it actually is the love of money is the root of all evil. And so if you leave that word love out, it ruins money. But when you put the love in there and the motive, you figure out motive is the entire problem when it comes to sin most of the time. Your heart posture, if you will. I'm with you. I want more people in the kingdom to be wealthy because the amount of good things that can happen. You're watching Mr. Beast do this right now on a worldly perspective. Like, the dude is literally funding clean water for millions and millions of people because of a YouTube channel. So imagine we're having this happen right now in Christianity. Forrest Frank. You familiar with Forrest Frank?
Yeah.
Okay. He's really our first mainstream global Christian success, in my opinion, like legit follower of Christ. And the stuff that's happening in culture right now because of him, not because of him, what God's doing through him is pretty spectacular. I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. I've never been able to find music I like and that they like that can be Christ-centered. It was always one of us giving it up, right? I'm listening to Danny Go or whatever. And man, Forrest Frank, we've been singing Lemonade for 2 weeks together. It's been pretty fun.
Fun. Yeah, that's awesome. Man, we jumped around so many places. Oh, I want to, for listeners, because I jumped off task there.
It's all good.
The hiring VA overseas, the qualification that I was going to share was ask them to do a Loom video. You're going to get 3 applicants, but they're all going to be relatively qualified, or at least more qualified than the other 100 or 150 you got. And so that's what I was going to share about online jobs at PH. It sounds like you've used.
I like South America. I like South Americans a lot because they're close to my time zone, and they're really well educated. They all go to get their bachelor's most of the time. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite flavor of wings there, but they're all good.
Absolutely. And you're using Sagan, or how do you say it?
I use Sagan. Yeah, I use Sagan.
Yeah. Cool.
Great experience.
Sweet. Man, we got a lot going on here. You got the same interests that I do. Service business, marketing.
Yeah.
Helping other people grow. The one thing that you brought up that I feel is very interesting, and we have a lot of listeners at this phase, is the guys at 250K.
Yeah.
Like I see so many people, especially owner operators, like kind of stagnate there. What do you think the main thing is that they need to break through that 250K?
I'll speak for the landscape industry. The reason why most people get stuck at that number is because that's 2 crews or less. And so at them running a crew and their best friend Tom running a crew, they feel like they can manage that. So that's why 80% of businesses stay under 300K in the lawn and landscape industry, because they don't trust anybody. They don't have any systems. I know this is such a systems and processes is such a touch and sexy word or whatever, but they don't have anything that's holding the ball in bowling. Like they don't have any bumpers. They don't have anything that's keeping this thing going down the line. So around that number is when you got to start investing in yourself in a little bit. You got to start going to seminars. You got to start watching YouTube. You got to start listening to podcasts. You got to get a business coach. I don't charge but a couple $100 for 2 hours. Like I don't charge this crazy number. Like I'm going to say the number because people need to know that business coaching is affordable. If you don't have $1,000 to invest in yourself for 4 or 5 months, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
If you're willing to go to a marriage counselor for $100 an hour, why would you not do the same thing for your business? I don't understand that. 95% of the people I've coached over 70 guys now these last 5 years, and 90% of them I've all almost doubled in revenue. And it's not only about revenue. I'm not saying that, but if you get somebody that's been there, done that, and knows what they're talking about, this is the problem. So I'm not going to get into this much, but my industry, the green industry, lawn and landscape, there's so many phonies out there on Instagram and stuff that are charging guys $400 an hour for coaching who've never had but one employee. Don't pay that guy. I told you I had a lot of brand deals and stuff for a long time, and I don't want to be negative and get into that, but like I started pushing back on some things in those influencer circles. There's so many people who are not naive, but they're just new. And, oh, you have 25,000 followers and you have a podcast? Oh, I'm going to pay you. And this guy's never done 50K in business. He's just regurgitating what he knows. So that's something that has really upset me over the years with the influencer model. And I'm not against people making money. I want you to charge what you think you're worth if you know what you're talking about. If you've actually had to fire somebody who has a wife and kids, if you've ever had a workers' comp claim, if you know how to navigate 22 people in the morning and getting them out of the shop. Now, I'm not saying there's a size that qualifies you. Don't hear that. But I'm just saying, as long as you actually know what you're talking about, instead of just saying what you think you're supposed to say and charging people $400 or $300 or whatever, that stuff's crazy to me. But yes, the guy stuck at 250. Invest in yourself, number one. Hustle until your legs hurt, number two. Do not slow down. Run the race. Go out there, bang doors, text people, post on social media all the time. Free advertising, man. Post on social media. Take a video when you're at a lawn or you're at a job. Like the Ty the Stump Grinder. I know he was on here. Ty, right?
Yeah.
Like the dude, all he does is show what he's doing every day. That's all he does. And I know X is not where he really gets business much, but like the same strategy works on Facebook where you do get a lot of business. Like he's just sharing what he's doing. Share what you're doing. People think trades are more fascinating than you realize, right? Equipment is cool and big loud jobs are cool, and you making someone's lawn look, people like it more than you think. Why do you think Spencer, what is Spencer's name? The guy that does it's Spencer. The guy that mows the overgrown lawns. He has 8 million on YouTube.
I think I've come across this stuff.
Gosh, I know. I'm almost positive it's Spencer, right? Yeah. I've met him a couple times. Really nice guy. But anyways, he goes into these properties and just videos himself mowing overgrown grass. Like, why do you think that blows up? Because people enjoy seeing satisfactory things for whatever reason. So don't sleep on posting. Google ads was huge for my company. We only spent We had so many leads, like we spent $1,500 a month in ad spend, and we were just crushing. We were $1.7 million revenue, $1,500 a month. Just we're booked out 8 crews for 3-4 weeks out, always.
Yeah, I can second that. And like so many people push back on $50 a day ad spend. They're like, oh, I want to dip my toes in at $10, $20, like 50. Just right now, at least 2025, August 29th, $50 a day. If you're starting, like, do it. $1,500. Knock on some wood here. I can't control your sales process, but if you can sell, and if you have sold, and if you do call your leads fast, and you spend $1,500 a day, and all you do, like, people are overcomplicating ads. Like it's this right here.
Yeah.
Your service area plus your service. Hey, South Carolina residents. Sorry, I don't remember the town that you're in. It's, hey, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Hey, Columbia residents. It's Alex. We do X, Y, and Z. Equipment running in the background. We're a 5-star rated company. All they need to see is your face, your equipment operating, stuff in the background, what you do, who you service, call out your ideal client, put that $50 a day, target the zip code, rip it, and you're going to get leads.
Totally. And I think guys you've talked to will say the sauce is having a lot of reviews to go with that, right? Because the algorithm loves highly rated reviews with ad spend. I tell, when our marketing agency, we run a lot of Google ads for people, and they're always like, what's the sauce? I'm like, they change the algorithm all the time, but I believe the sauce, because Google's entire business model is based off of trust. If you look up best Italian near me for your date tonight and it was not the best Italian, you're never going back to Google to look for it, right? As long as you have really good reviews with ad spend, you're going to get leads. There's obviously outliers if you're in Austin, Texas, and people are spending $10K a month or something crazy. But majority of the time, that's it.
What services were you selling with your ads? Were you just running ads for recurring lawn maintenance services, or did you find a higher ticket service like some sort of landscaping?
Yeah, mostly landscaping near me. Are you talking about keywords and stuff?
Oh, no, I was talking about Facebook ads. So maybe you're talking about
Facebook. We didn't run
Google ads.
Yeah, good question. Sorry, I didn't hear. We didn't run a ton of Facebook ads. As you said earlier, like we would run a couple $100 a month for visibility's sake. But as you said, like Miss Jane down the street is not going to choose your lawn care guy because she saw a Facebook ad. Our goal was to find higher. So we ended up selling like 50 accounts in 2021 and only going full service. So that was one thing. So our minimum ticket was $250, $300 a month. And if we weren't doing the shrubs, the mowing, and the leaf cleanups, we weren't doing it. You know why I did that? It's some crazy thing happened. We were sitting in the office one day and this lady called in and she said, hey, I see your trucks, Trifecta trucks all over town. Why do the lawns never look good? And we were like, that's a weird thing to say. What do you mean, ma'am? She goes, the guys cut the grass fine, but the shrubs look terrible. The turf, the fertilization, the turf, there's weeds everywhere. And I said, ma'am, they don't pay us to do that. And then she said this, Austin, I'll never forget this. She said, how am I supposed to know that? Meaning that it made sense. It like clicked in my head. I'm like, wait a second. Our products, our results physically are the only thing people can judge us off of, and they don't know what services a customer's paying for. So if I'm only doing mowing for people because that's what they want to pay for, then my product looks like a half-done job to anyone driving by. And that just bothered me to the core. So we went to full service only for that reason. One of those reasons, not the only reason, but because it was like, we want the property to be popping. And so we went to full service, and that helped a lot. So we have a big lake here. I have one of the most attractive lakes in the southeast in my town. So a lot of lake properties we were mowing, a lot of country club people, like country clubs are big here. So we went to more of that customer than we did blow Joe down the road type thing.
I'm glad you brought that up, because now be careful whose yard you put your sign in.
Yes, 100%.
And I've never thought about it that way.
I had until this old lady called in, dude. I never thought about it.
And it's so obvious, right? When you bring it to your attention. Yeah. Why would I put my sign in a yard that doesn't look perfect in your mind? Same thing with us, right? If my brand is Bear Claw Land Services and we're doing the fire mitigation, well, what if the driveway looks like crap?
Yeah.
Like, am I triggering the wrong response in customers? And so that's where if you saw me like looking on in the distance, that's where my head is spinning right now. So that's
Well,
a good word.
Yeah, yours is like tree, like the tree guy's not responsible for the grass. I think people get that, but like the landscape guy's in charge of the landscape. And so shrubs was the big one. Like if the shrubs are not cut, and they look that way for 3 months, people in the neighborhood walking their dog, that's our target customer. We want 7, 8, 10 people on the same street for $350 a month. Why would they call us if it doesn't look good in totality? They're making assumptions about us regardless. And that's, to wrap up the marketing thing, is like, we fully wrapped our trailers really nice in our box trucks. Because we want people to think something about us. We want that we're professional, that we've got our stuff together. And so the product has to match the marketing. What you're giving people has to match what your marketing is. And so that's where I had a little bit of a loose spot. And so now that we're doing the franchise, the model that we're doing is I've totally changed than the way I grew my first one. Like, our goal is to be the 60-20-20 company. We want to be 60% commercial maintenance, 20% residential, 20% projects. That's roughly, obviously, but we don't want to be, and if we can take 10% of the residential away and add it to projects, great. If we can be 60-30-10, I'll be happy with that. But yeah, somewhere in that 50-25-25, but we want to be heavy on the commercial side. I know how to sell that. That's the main thing, is I know how to sell commercial maintenance. And $150 tickets times 10 is super exhausting, rather than going to get a $1,500 person on an apartment complex.
It's the truth.
It's true.
It is the absolute truth. Well, Alex, this has been fun.
I've enjoyed it, man. Thank you so much I know we didn't really know each other except a little bit on X, but I've really enjoyed it. It's an honor to be on this show and talk about the Lord and talk about business, man. Thank you a lot for having me.
I have to do some more here because I'm really interested in leaning in more to the concept of faith in business. And it's come up a couple times. Yeah, it's come up a couple times on the last episodes that have been published. And I just got back from a men's retreat. Do you know Joby Martin? He's down there in the Southeast Florida.
I know him because his Instagram reels are all over my feed and they're awesome.
Yeah.
Talking about the dude that looks like he came right out of a cave and killed something.
Yeah. So I guess he's partnered up with, or he and the pastor at our church, Jim Bergen, they launch this, they do the Rocky Mountain Men's Summit every year. Okay. And I think they do other men's retreats around the country. So Joby it was like he and Jim were speaking at that event.
I bet it was awesome.
Week. That's freaking awesome, man. There's nothing better than I came home so jacked up to just serve my wife and kids. Awesome. And they just, I don't know, man. It's like stuff that I personally believe that we've gotten real woke, especially out here in Colorado. Yeah. And there are a lot of things that I didn't even know going on because I'm not on Instagram. I spend any of my social media time on X and I create YouTube videos. But my wife is on Instagram and she'll tell me, as we're learning how to discipline and parent and whatnot. Yeah. I have a 3-year-old and I guess she's about 10 weeks now. It's been a blur.
Oh, congrats. Yeah, man. Those first 90 days are like, where am I in the matrix right now?
Exactly. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. Somebody said, when was her birthday? And this was like 7 weeks in. I was like, I haven't even thought about what day that was. I've just been
so funny
fighting to stay but that's what they talk about, this men's retreats. You got kids? Great. You got a business? Great. It's going to be work. You're not getting any sleep? Join the club, right? You're not the only one. Stop making excuses. Show up. Yeah. Pour another cup of coffee if you have to and show up and be great. And so that's sort of the message that they're pushing, is like, you have a role and responsibility as a man, as a father, and as a husband, as the spiritual leader of the household. And it's like, your job, one thing they said is like, your job is not to make sure your kids are friends with you. It's like to make sure that they have an eternal life. And that hit me hard, where it was like, man, I have a responsibility to teach principles that I believe in, and I have a responsibility to teach my kids about the fruits of the Spirit, even at the 3-year-old age. And like, if they don't learn that,
it's on me.
It's on me.
Yep.
And it's no different than in business. If there are problems that are happening in business, guess whose fault it is?
Yep.
If I'm the owner, it's ultimately my fault. We haven't put the right person in the right place. We haven't set the right process in place. We haven't built the right system. We haven't allocated the right resources. And so I'm just in this phase of life where it's like, take massive responsibility. Let's stop pointing fingers at everyone else.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
And let's take the responsibility. And weaving faith in the business at this point, I don't believe we're meant to sit back in that chair and just meditate and try to manifest success.
I'll say this to end, but what God is challenging me about with this Blue Collar Kingdom group and community I'm launching here is, Alex, it's not about fitting me into your business. It's about building your business on my rock. Like that is how he's changing my perspective on this whole thing is. It's not about where can we do a devotional? Where can we fit him into this thing we're doing? It is, no, just like you build your family on me, your business is built on me. There might be, people are going to probably go, whoa, but there might be a day where you quote a job for $2,200 and realize it's a single mom or a widow. And you go, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. That's a kingdom business. That's not, oh, when can we post a verse once a month on our Facebook? That's when I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Don't hear me, guys, but I want my businesses moving forward to be just insane lights for Christ. And that is what we're known for. Not putting down someone's throat. I'm not saying we're going to be preaching at people or any of that. But man, how beautiful can the world become? Because look, business is the one consistency that everyone has a job or everyone does business. It's like the one thing that's like everyone has a part in. So why wouldn't we think that God would use it to be the vessel of his message? Not to be boring is my last thing, but do you know how Paul did his mission? Paul, how do you think he paid for it all, Austin? You remember?
Ooh, this is interesting. There was a lady who was, I believe she was an entrepreneur, and she funded every step of his journey.
Priscilla and Aquila, if you remember them in the letters, the epistles, people don't really realize, but they basically were wealthy and funded his whole campaign. And husband and wife, right? And so it's who's more important, the one on the boat or the one that made it sail? And we give Paul the credit, right? Paul's the hero of our faith, and he should be. Man, if Priscilla and Aquila aren't the ones who did God's work with the finances, we don't have Paul. We don't have Church of Corinth. We don't have all these things. So that's where God's really, like I said, God's really testing me and forging something out of me. It's be that guy. You don't have to have 10 businesses that do X amount of millions if you help 10 guys that do $1 million businesses. Like that's the reward is seeing other people build the kingdom, not just your own kingdom, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It's a good word. And I think, everybody's on their own journey, especially with faith. For me, the hardest thing was to figure out how to merge the two. I felt like because I'm an all in or all out person.
Me too.
I felt like if I was all in on this business thing, then I couldn't be all in on my faith. And for the longest time, that's what I struggled with. And I also think that's what held me back in business. But here's where I've come to, and this has just come through a lot of prayer and a lot of, hey, what am I here to do? If you have this desire to go build businesses, like that is inherently built inside your DNA by the Creator. At least I personally believe that. So this is what excites me. I do this for fun. Yeah, the podcast makes money now, but I just did this for fun to meet guys like yourself and to talk shop because this is what I get excited about. It's a game to me. Just like football was a game, just like baseball was a game. It's a game.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's something to harness energy and effort into doing good work into. And so where I'm at right now is like, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. They can be built together. And oh, by the way, at least this is just from my personal journey. If you ask God for help and if you ask God for direction, like he will provide it. And it is freaking awesome whenever you start seeing those things. I've had multiple times where it's like, here's our problem that we're trying to solve. How am I supposed to solve this? Hey God, if we're supposed to grow, if we're supposed to solve this problem, can you help? And it is insane how things will come out of,
Yeah.
it seems like they come out of nowhere. And it's pretty awesome whenever you start paying attention to it. And then to your point where you were saying, I believe everybody has their role on this earth.
Yeah.
Like, you were a former pastor. You may be called back into that at some point. Right now, you're not. Like, you've been called into business and entrepreneurship. And to your point with Paul and the relationship he had with the person who was funding that, somebody has to do it. And so there was a fallacy that I fell into in my 20s where it was like, man, if you're valuing money or if you're valuing business, your heart's in the wrong place. And I don't know where that got embedded. I'm 34.
I'm 30. I'm 33. I'm 33.
Part of the millennial generation. Somewhere along the line, I don't know if it was embedded by church. I don't know if it was embedded by organizations. It was almost like glorified to like live that lifestyle of like, man, we aren't making any money, but we're serving the kingdom.
I call it the poverty mindset.
Yeah. And I need to flush it out more personally. For me, it wasn't a healthy mindset to be in.
Yeah. No, it's not good.
Maybe some people are called, maybe some people are called to just go devote their lives and like Paul, right? But at the end of the day, there is a funding source that is funding that person. So I can't speak for that person who is called, but what I do know is this is what I get excited about is business. I love playing the game.
Me too. And I love it.
You do as well. And so it's like, how can we do that to the best of our ability, show up, ask God for help, direction, guidance, and make an impact along the way.
Amen, bro. Got to do this again. Have to.
Okay. Where can people find you, Alex?
So you can find me on X. I think it's the Kingdom. What is my handle? I think it's the Kingdom Dad. Like I said, I use the word kingdom a lot. Yeah, the Kingdom Dad there. You can find me on Instagram. I'm about to launch a personal brand, whatever. I've never really launched even a real personal Instagram before. It's a new thing for me. And then you can find me on Facebook. It's Alex Kirby. But yeah, launching my consulting company probably will be launched by the time this comes out. It's going to be called Conquer Consulting, helping people with vision, strategy, sales, marketing, and hiring for the kingdom. Everything like kingdom focused. And then the Blue Collar Kingdom, find that on school and Facebook. That's where we marriage, ministry, and business together and talk about how they're not mutually exclusive, just like you said. And if you're a long landscape guy, if you're interested in the franchise stuff, if you're stuck, Trifecta Landscaping. I never told you, but it's called Trifecta because we didn't want to be Trinity. And so I was like, what's an alternative? And that's where Trifecta came from.
Sweet. I love it.
Yeah, man. Loved it, brother. Thank you so much, Austin. Thank you, man. Awesome time.
Yeah. Thanks for being on. Listeners, thanks again for listening to another episode of the OWNR OPS Podcast, where we publish episodes every Friday about building and growing local service-based businesses. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, we send a summarized bullet point list inside of an email on Saturdays. You can join that, ownerops.com/newsletter. That's OWNROPS.com/newsletter. And just like Alex, we've got a school group for listeners here. That's a free group. You can jump in, school.com/ownerops. That's SKOOL.com/OWNROPS. Guys, don't forget, work hard, do your best, never settle for less. See y'all next week.